Welcome to Tales from the Switch Vault, where I, jimjimjim, look back at some of the weird and wonderful games from the Nintendo Switch. This time I tried to climb the mountain in Celeste. Released in January 2018 on PC, consoles and Nintendo Switch, it was a smash hit for indie Canadian studio Extremely OK Games. Led by Maddie Thornston, it broke through with its heartening story and solid as nails platforming gameplay to become an indie darling on Switch. Celeste without a doubt has some of the best 2D platforming ever. As the player you can jump, dash, wall jump and climb for a short period. These work into a flow very quickly with clever early level design to force the player to understand and utilise these fast. The premise is you play as Madeline, who has decided to climb Celeste Mountain. During platforming, death is an instant reset a la Hotline Miami or Super Meat Boy, letting the player experiment freely in the knowledge that mistakes are expected and not really penalised. It's the epitome of a game giving you what seems like inaccessible areas that you can actually get to. Upon replaying, I only just realised that the dash ability, which only resets on the ground or via an item, also occurs during screen transition, which is an absolute game changer. Each chapter or level has its own theming, with early areas having falling blocks, or later on has floating platforms, or in the hotel a fungus that grows and kills you after touching it twice. The game constantly adds new mechanics that are instantly understood, but need a bit of planning to get around. During exploration you'll come across other characters that lead to most of the dialogue and story. Throughout the game there are messages of encouragement such as, be proud of your death count, the more you die the more you're learning, keep going. An acknowledgement from the devs that this game is hard but worth it. This is also shown in the assist mode, allowing the player to alter the game speed, have infinite stamina or dashes amongst many other options. As always, I thoroughly applaud this level of accessibility. Visually this title is pixel perfect, the art style is incredible. Designed on Microsoft's XNA, it has an explosion of colours throughout the levels. I particularly like the purples and yellows that show up. The snowing effect is also absolutely stunning. Climbing up the mountain constantly gives you these gorgeous vistas and the cool looking but yet weird characters that you meet along the way. The level select menu has a stunning 3D representation of the mountain showing each of its chapters. These are themed, starting outside at the mountain base and then proceeding such areas as the messed up hotel resort or the warm glow of Golden Ridge. During moment-to-moment gameplay there's no icons or UI on the screen. They've used very clever visual designs such as Madeline hair changing colour when you're using the dash, an easy signifier for the player. It's simple but very elegant. What a beautiful game this is. The soundtrack was composed by Lena Raine, who has a huge discography of work. Alongside reselling her own EPs and albums, has worked on a ton of gameplay soundtracks, including Chicory, A Colourful Tale, Deltarune Chapter 2, and various Minecraft updates amongst many others. Her Celeste soundtrack is a fantastic piece of work, from the twinkling piano on First Steps, which I'm obsessed with, to the creepy synth of Spirit of Hospitality. Its broadly upbeat and airy tunes help push the player forward. In fact, the whole soundtrack is a great background music for working. It's won multiple awards, including 2018 Video Game Soundtrack of the Year, the ASCAP Composer's Choice Awards. Also shout out to the swirling wind sounds and the weird garble noises when people speak. The hook that draws you in and keeps you coming back is exploring this weird, difficult world. Getting to the end of the tunnel and seeing a very difficult platforming sequence, which when done is such a feeling of accomplishment. Not only do you have to reach the top of the mountain, but also find strawberries, B-sides and hearts. It has a ton of secrets, often very easy to overlook and require a lot of investigation as you go. It's all extra, so you can just beeline to the end if you want, but the joy of discovery is a strong one. For me, it's the first platformer where the story is so deeply tied into the gameplay and ultimately very moving that makes Celeste stand out. That sense of discovery, not only in the world, but also with the character finding herself. Showcasing themes of anxiety and depression, written from the designer's own experience really shine through. It's really touching. You actually want to carry on to find out what happens to her. Will she be okay and find what she's looking for? It's a far cry from saving the princess in the castle, and I applaud this. The game can be completed in about 8 hours, but it's stuffed full of content. Collect strawberries hidden around the levels, hearts to unlock new areas, and the B-side tapes to open up harder versions of all the levels. The title includes a free DLC and post-game levels to dive into. Even going back to earlier areas to replay it or just find missed items with your newfound skills feels so good. And for the real hardcore that just can't get enough, there's always speedrunning. You can add a timer in-game to track your progress. On speedrun.com, the any percent time now is down to just 24 minutes, which is very impressive. For all its success, the studio has an interesting and slow burn journey to this point. Starting out as Maddie Makes Games in 2012, their first title was Towerfall, a 4-player multiplayer archer fighter game. It's fun and chaotic, originally designed for Ouya of all things, before coming to mobile, consoles and Switch in 2018 as Towerfall Ascension. During a 4-day game jam in 2015, they made Pico 8, a game about climbing a mountain with difficult jumping challenges. This version is actually included in the main menu of Celeste and will be played in full. Realizing how good it was, they moved into full production in 2016, with Celeste coming out 2 years later. By this time, the team had grown and it was decided to close Maddie Makes Games to reflect that Thornston was no longer the sole creative behind projects anymore, and that the whole team was recognised for their creative effort. Extremely OK Games, or EXOK, was formed in 2019 and began work on their next title, Earthblade. Though highly anticipated, the project was sadly cancelled in 2025 due to numerous issues, including Celeste's intellectual property rights, a team member leaving the studio, and just struggling to develop the game. They announced that going forward they will work on smaller projects. Rain did, however, release a concept album of all the music from Earthblade to her Bandcamp, so that we do have that. Celeste was very successful. This video would have to be a fair bit longer for her to list every award it's won. It's so extensive. The standout ones include Best Audio at the GCD Awards and Action Game of the Year at the DICE Awards. At the Game Awards, they were nominated for Game of the Year, solidifying its Indie Game of the Year in the public perception, and actually winning Games for Impact and Best Independent Game at the Game Awards. Scoring an outstanding 92 on Metacritic, it received rave reviews across the board. By 2020, it had sold over 1 million copies, with a large number of that coming from Switch players. Celeste, as we call it in our house, is an absolute classic and a pleasure to play. I regret only replaying it again now after 7 years. Back in 2018, the industry seemed to be heading away from pixels and ever deeper into AAA action games. It's so heartening to see this being such a huge success. The art, the music, the gameplay are all absolutely fantastic. For me, it's the best 2D platformer outside of Mario. Coming back to play now, it feels buttery smooth to pull out that muscle memory and smash through the early worlds with ease. It's a difficult game and a long journey for the character, and this is on a personal level. My work background screen is that of Madeline outside the granny's house at the start, reminding me it's a long way to go when starting out anything, but always worth the effort. I'm always going to love a game that's hard but beatable with an instant try again. It never feels like you're wasting your time with this one, and I certainly won't be uninstalling this again anytime soon. It's been such a huge hit that there's been spin-offs including Celeste 64 released for free on PC, a short homage to 3D platformers on the N64. Whilst disappointing we will no longer see Earthblade, it seems the studio is perfectly set up to surprise us again with some more wonderful games in the future. Here's hoping. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe for more weekly Nintendo Switch video game essays, and comment below where you rank Celeste in platformers. Now, I have to go unlock those raw blue hearts.